Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am the Trendy Nurse and I'm coming to you today with another video. Today's video is focusing on doing well on the teas. So when I did the teas last September, I did score advanced and I'm very proud of that. And from the moment that I scored advanced on my teas, one of the first things besides applying to nursing school that I wanted to do was to make a video on how I did so. All right, guys, so here we go. It's not going to be too long. It's not going to be extremely detailed. I'm just going to give some of the basic guidance on what I did that I felt was really helpful, that may help someone who is preparing to take the teas right now. So you guys might see me look down a little bit because I did write some things down as I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget anything. So I took the teas last September of 2021. And that was teas version 6. So right now the teas version 7 is out. Teas 7 came out in June of 2022. There really isn't a big difference in the two versions or in the T7 version from the 6. There are still 170 questions. The time frame is still the same, and the subject categories are still the same, which you're going to have math, science, English, and reading. So I'm just going to break down some of the things that I did for each one that were helpful, as well as shout out some of the videos that were amazing here on YouTube that I found that really helped me. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with math. To me, the key point for math was really being good at algebra, really understanding fractions, how to multiply, divide, add fractions, how to do order of operations, knowing PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction in that order. I had a bunch of questions on order of operations. When you first look at the questions, they do look pretty intimidating because it's a long list of numbers with plus, minus, multiply, fractions, exponents, all that in there. But I did not let that overwhelm me, and I stuck to what I knew and what I practiced for order of operations, and I did really, really well in math. So like I said, fractions as well as order of operations. There are some questions in there and regarding measurements, being able to measure data and pull data from graphs, pie charts and things like that. You definitely want to look into and reviewing, because you will get that type of information on the math section. There is a few YouTube videos that I did check out when I was studying for the math portion, which I studied in the last week of my preparation for the teas. It was one of the last things that I had did, and just to make sure that I had the right idea of what to expect in my mind. And one of the videos was the organic chemistry tutor. That is the name of the actual YouTube channel page, the Organic Chemistry Tutor, and they have a video on teas math, and most likely I'm going to take a screenshot of that video that I watched, and I'm going to place it here just so that you guys can get an idea of what to look for if you type that in, to make sure that you did find the right thing. Okay, I did jump right into math, but I do want to bring it back a little bit. Okay, overall, let's talk about study time. I do apologize, I should have started this in the beginning, but overall, I did take about 4 weeks, so about a month to study for the teas. Some people may have focused in 2 weeks. Some people may feel like they need longer than 1 month. Let me tell you where I was in my journey. When I took the teas, I had just finished my prerequisites for my nursing program. So I had just completed Anatomy and Physiology 1, medical terminology. I did do a algebra course, well, a basic math course, a college level math course, as well as an English course. So some of the sciences, the math, as well as the English, it was fresh because I did complete my prerequisites the semester ahead of me taking the T's. So some of it was fresh in my mind. I did, have to kind of put it all together, and tie it up in a nice package to say, okay, this is what I'm going in with. But I took about a month to study, and like I said, that was after I had already completed those courses. So if you have not taken anatomy and physiology, or you have not taken a math class in 5 to 6 or 10 years, then you may want to take a little extra time and may start to study 8 weeks in advance versus 6 weeks, guys. So I just want to put that out there, that I took 4 weeks, and it was right after I did complete some of the key courses that is vital in helping you know some of this information. Okay, so I used 4 to 6 weeks of study time. I also utilized the Teas test booklet here. I did order this from the Teas website, ATI Teas testing website. This was the 2020 to 2021 version. As I told you guys, I took my Teas last year in 2021, so I'm sure now there is a new version, most likely 2021 to 2022. This book is pretty straightforward. It kind of just hones in on the material. For some people it is good, and for some people need a little more explanation, or discussion on some of the information in order to retain it. What I found most helpful in this book, and the way that I gauged where I was in my mind versus what Teas wants me to know, was for each section, after I had a week or two of studying in, I would go in and there were chapter reviews at the end of each section of this book. And from there, I would go through the chapter reviews, say for math or English, or science, and I would gauge what I need to work on versus what I have down packed based on how well I did on this book. Some people count this book out and go for other books, which is great. Everyone has their own thing. But me personally, I feel like if you're taking the ATI Teas, then I wanted to test myself against what is in the ATI book, because it's ATI. So I just felt like I needed to incorporate something ATI in my studying. I didn't focus on this totally. I utilized, like I said, my anatomy book, YouTube, and things like that to kind of get the information in there. But when it was time to determine how well, or I had everything down, I utilized this book. And then there is a comprehensive exam, guys, at the end of this book, which is similar. It's like a practice Teas test, and it's at the end. So what I did, I didn't jump straight into that. I studied, and I utilized the chapter review questions. And then once I was very close to taking my test, maybe about a week out, and by then I had already been studying for 4 weeks, I went in and then did the comprehensive exam at the end. And I will say, when I did the comprehensive exam at the end, I did do a lot better than I anticipated. So it gave me a lot of confidence, and it made me feel like I was, focusing on the right thing. So I would also recommend that, like I said, utilizing the chapter reviews exams at the end of each chapter, and then when you're getting closer to taking your test, utilizing the comprehensive exam. Now, Teas, and there are other sites out there that do offer practice exams to give you an idea of what to expect on the Teas, or give you a way to gauge of how well you are with the material, or where you are with the material. A lot of them cost money, For me, I didn't have a lot of money to spend on a lot of things, and I spent about $25 on this book. So I felt like I should just utilize what I already spent my money on, and it seemed to work out well for me. From here, we can move on to English, which is kind of vocabulary based. Like I said, I did have to do an entry college level English course, which kind of really taught the basics. We went over punctuation, different parts of the sentences, what pronouns, nouns, verbs, adjectives, what all of those things are, why they're needed, all of that basic stuff. For things like that, I would say, because it's straightforward and it's not super complex, if you order this book, there is a whole section in here on English, as well as a whole section on reading and comprehension. I would, if you have not taken one of those classes in a long time, I would go through the sections that are in here, and it should point you in the right direction. To me, the most complex portions of the T's that kind of trick a lot of people up would be the math and the science. So me in particular, I really focused on the math and the science as far as my preparation goes. Okay guys, let's talk about the science portion of the T's exam. I spent about 85% of my time studying for the science portion of the exam. There are about 37 questions on the T's exam in regards to science. However, there are 11 organ systems of the body. There is life science. There's also biology, and there's also the chemical aspect of the body as well. So when you have all of that, you have no idea what the 37 questions are going to be on. So in order to be fully prepared, if you want to get a great score or score advanced, I would recommend studying it all. I started with studying each organ system and making sure that I knew the key functions as well as the key organs of each organ system. If you have not already taken anatomy and physiology, or if you've already taken anatomy and physiology and you want to brush up, I wholly recommend the crash course videos on YouTube. The crash course videos were amazing. I had just finished anatomy and physiology, and it's a lot to really go back through it all with a fine-tooth comb. So what I did was I watched the crash course videos on each system and made notes about the organs of those systems as well as their functions. From there, I also utilized a video by an amazing YouTuber. Her name is Hermosa Bell. It's Hermosa Bell, which is Belle. She has a handful of videos on YouTube in regards to the T's and how to do well and how to take accurate notes to prepare for the T's and everything. But in particular, I watched her video that is called How to Score High on T's Science. Once again, that's How to Score High on T's Science. And she really goes through in particular in regards to what type of science you need to be studying. Like I said, she goes over, different important things in regards to anatomy and the organ systems. But what really helped me was her breakdown of the type of life science and the type of chemical science that you need to study. So I utilized everything that she said, guys, on her video, and I did really well on the science portion as well. So once again, in regards to YouTube, like I said, I watched Crash Course to go over the basic anatomy of everything, and I also utilized Hermosa Bell's video, How to Score High on the T's. Once I reviewed those two things and used them to create my flashcards and my study notes, I reviewed those things for about a week or two, and then from there I jumped into my ATI's book, and at that point I started doing the chapter review questions that were at the end of every section, because in the ATI's book it does also break the science portion down by organ systems, and then it does also go into life science and chemical science. So once I felt like I had a good grasp on it, I tested myself by going through those review questions to see if I had an idea of what they wanted me to know. So for me, science can be so big, it's so broad, and being that you have no idea what they're going to ask you on the teas, you have to go over everything. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. And I'm sure a lot of you are like me, you work, you may have families, and it's hard to really get that study time, and you want to make sure that when you are studying, you're studying the right thing. And if you want to do that, I highly encourage you to check out Hermosa Bell's video, as well as review the crash course videos. And if you paid for this ATI book, at least utilize the review questions at the end, because they are questions that are coming from the ATI company itself. And if you're taking the ATI Teas, why not test yourself on questions from their book? Okay, so to bring it all together, and to just, if I just had to put a label on it, I would say give yourself at least 4 to 6 weeks to study. If you've already taken anatomy and physiology or recently done a college level math class, you may be able to get away with 4 weeks. If it's been longer for either of those things, I would say 6 weeks at least, and 8 weeks, because it is a lot to take in, and you do not want to just cram it all in, because it's not good test taking habits to do that. So just give yourself the time. That way it may help keep your anxiety down. You're not feeling like I gotta get this all in, You're actually giving yourself time to get it all in. Flashcards for me were great. If you've watched any of my other videos, I talk about even being in nursing school now, I still utilize flashcards. A lot of my study practices that I'm utilizing in nursing school, that's getting me through nursing school, are practices that I started when I was studying for things like the T's, trying to get into nursing school. So especially for science, a lot of the basic information on those organ systems, a lot of the information about life in chemical science, I will put on flashcards. Everything that Hermosa Bell stated in her video that you needed to know, I made a flashcard out of them. And some of the concepts I had to make 2 or 3 flashcards just to break it down and make sure I understood the whole thing. By the end of my full studying, I had 200 flashcards, guys. No joke. I don't know where they are, because I wanted to get them out for this video. They are in the house somewhere, but I just probably tucked them away because I was over it. I did not count them before because it would have traumatized me. But when I was done with the teas, just out of curiosity, I counted the amount of flashcards that I had. And at the end, I had 210 flashcards. And I would carry them with me everywhere. That's a part of the reason why I really like the flashcard method, being that I'm a mom at work. I'm very busy, and I'm trying to be great at becoming a nurse. I have to find the thing that works for me. And the flashcards, having them in my purse or having them in my bag, if I'm somewhere waiting for one of my children to get out of an extracurricular, or I'm on break at work or something like that, I pull out my flashcards, and it'll take me 10 to 15 minutes to run through everything. And for me, the repetition is really what helps everything stick, because it was a lot. So like I said, at least 4 to 6 weeks of study time. For me personally, utilize flashcards. Some people like to take notes, and if that's the case and you have a notebook and you want to write it all down, and a notebook is easily accessible too, that you can carry around with you. And when you're on break at work, or in the evening when you don't want to sit down and have a full study session, you can at least take 20 minutes and just read through your notebook, because that's the same thing. It's repetition. As I indicated, the crash course videos are amazing. The organic chemistry tutor videos for teas, those are amazing. Hermosa Bell's video, how to score high on the tea science video, is amazing. And like I said, I utilize this book for review and to gauge how well I knew the information. Once again, I utilized the practice questions at the end of each chapter, and then about a week before my actual TEAS exam, I utilized the comprehensive exam that is at the end of this book, which is like a big exam, and it's kind of like a mini practice TEAS. So I utilized that at the end just to see what I needed to brush up on and where my strong points were. And guys, that's really what I did. And I prayed and I got some good sleep the night before, and I tried to keep my anxiety level low. I arrived about 30 minutes early, and while I was waiting to start, I had my flashcards and I was just going through my flashcards. I tried to remain calm while I was in there, and I just was confident within myself that, you know, the information that I took the time to learn, my dedication for the time that I took to study would, you know, prove true. And ultimately, I did score an advance on my teas. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. Like I said, I really just wanted to do it because when I was in my journey of trying to take the teas, I utilized YouTube, and I felt that there were some great videos on here, and I do honestly feel that some of the things that I learned from the information that I got on YouTube is what helped me to do so well on my teas. So I just wanted to share the wealth, spread the knowledge, and help as many people that I can continue on their journey, and hopefully do as best as they can on the test to obtain their nursing degree or whatever program you are trying to enter. So thank you again for checking out my video. If you like this video, please like it. If you like my vibe, please subscribe. I appreciate it either way. Thank you for checking it out, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Take care.